Hey guys, Script here with another video, and is anyone surprised that the Star Wars Rey movie is having major problems? This is Disney Lucasfilm in a nutshell, right? It's a joke. They are an absolute joke of a company. It's hilariously bad. Disney Star Wars Rey movie still has no script. This past January I posted about sources telling me that Disney's Daisy Ridley starring Rey movie, potentially titled New Jedi Order and directed by Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy, was delayed indefinitely, of course, given the territory. Some people totally freaked out about this update, and some didn't even believe it. And why is this a surprise to people? I don't believe you! Why are you clinging to this idea that this is a well-oiled, organized machine? How many projects do they have to cancel? How many directors do they have to go through? How many writers do they have to go through before people just accept that this is an absolute joke of a company? I never said that the Rey movie wasn't going to happen. I just stated that CEO Bob Iger hit the pause button on it, and we wouldn't be seeing much movement on this film in the near future. Despite some rumors that it was going to be shooting this year, this has hit some creative bumps and is a long way down the road. Well, if they don't have a script, why are they announcing shooting? Like, this is just, again, just the constant disorganization. And I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen. Honestly. It wouldn't be the first one. So, it's just terrible. In fact, Ridley is now telling the Hollywood Reporter that there's currently no script to the film. She hasn't read a word of the story. And I did a video, I don't know, like a month or so ago, where I'm talking about how Daisy Ridley's just coming back for the money. She's coming back for the money, guys. And that's okay. I'm not mad at her for it. I would too. But at the end of the day, she admits that the sequels are divisive. She knows that people were mad. She knows it split the fans. And yet she's coming back, not even having a script, not even knowing a word of the story. So she's coming back for the money. And that's what Star Wars has become. And you look at like John Boyega, for example. He would never come back. He said he was treated like crap. He felt like there's some racial undertones to it, or overtones to it. And now he's all like, oh yeah, well, it's for money, right? Oscar Isaac, I'll come back if I need another house. All of these people, and it used to be actors really wanted to be in Star Wars because it was like kind of like the holy grail of like movies. It was just like, it was such a big deal, and which is funny because Alec Guinness was reluctant, but then, now, leading into the prequels and stuff, people were just desperate to be in it, and it was like such a huge deal. And now it's just, they just come back for the money. There's no other reason to. Why would you come back for any other reason? It's a gong show. It's an absolute gong show. Stephen Knight is supposed to be penning the screenplay, and I had been told that last year a draft had been written for the movie, but Lucasfilm gave Knight so many notes he had to start from scratch. So imagine that. Imagine you get like a stack of paper, you hand in your stack of papers of your screenplay, or your script, and it comes back, and it's just completely covered in sticky notes. Everything you wrote is just being told to be changed. And what I would say is that, why don't Iger and Kennedy and some of these other executives and people at Lucasfilm that want to control everything the creatives do, why don't they put their name on a script? Why don't they write a movie? See, they seem pretty happy to use these guys, right? Oh, Stephen Knight wrote this, even though he didn't. He basically, we told him to do the opposite of everything that he wrote. But we're going to use his name because we don't have the sack ourselves to put our name on it. Why doesn't Kennedy and her little executive group of people, why don't they put their names on a script? Why don't they put their name as directors and producers, right? I guess Kennedy's been on as a producer. But why don't they put their name on it in terms of the creative process? They're too chicken, but they like to use people. And so, everyone's going to take it out on Leslie Headland when The Acolyte's garbage. And sure, she should be blamed for sure for that. But how much of the crap we're going to get is her, and how much of it is the Lucasfilm executives, Disney executives, that are not creatives. But they sure like using these people to push their agenda, their wants in these movies and shows. It's interesting, isn't it? But I mean, that would be super offensive. Like, you hired me to write a script, I write you a script, and I expect a couple of changes. I expect a little bit of movement here and there, but there was so many notes he had to start from scratch. Like, They're just, that just means they rejected your script entirely. So again, why don't you just write it then? Because obviously you don't like what your creatives are doing, so just you write it yourself. To make matters worse, there's a possibility that Knight might not be staying on board on the project. His frustrations have grown. Sounds like Patty Jenkins, doesn't it? So he's put Star Wars on the back burner and is now focused on his screenplay for Peaky Blinders movie, which is supposed to go into production in the fall. Wow, that sure, is similar to the Patty Jenkins situation, where she couldn't get Lucasfilm to see her vision and accept her vision, and they just couldn't come together. What a faceless, awful corporation Disney and Lucasfilm are. When there was a single person running Lucasfilm, when George Lucas was running Lucasfilm, things got done. You can argue whether they were good or bad or whatever, but things got done. And you didn't have all this garbage going on in the background. Having all these chiefs, and there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians, right? That's the old saying. There's too many people chiming in, getting involved, non-creatives, executives that are too chicken to put their name on it. And so nothing gets done, and these writers and creators get ticked off and they leave. They've had enough. It's just an absolute mess. An absolute mess. It's wild to watch. The slow destruction of George Lucas's company. The issues with Knight come only 2 years after development of the Rey films. 2 years and they don't have a script. Something that should, if you gave a writer total freedom, honestly, a month, you could write a Rey movie. A month. 2 years and they haven't done anything. Various drafts had circulated with different writers, including Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson, both eventually exiting this untitled Rey Skywalker project. And Knight came on after. There you go. Because they just can't deal with these Lucasfilm people. They can't deal with Kennedy. They can't deal with Bob Iger and Disney. What an awful company. Like, all these people that you hire just can't deal with you and leave. And Knight's probably going to leave, too. They're going to go through another set of writers. It'll be 5 years before they finally get the script they want. Why don't you guys just write it yourselves? Just write it yourselves. Too chicken to put your name on it. That's why you don't. Empire City are backing me up here, but they're also going one step further, claiming the film has actually been totally scrapped. Okay, hold on. I don't know who this is. Keep hearing Empire City. Who is Empire City? Let me know in the comment section who that is. Going one step further, claiming that the film has been totally scrapped by Disney and that Ridley has yet to be told about that. That would be the most Lucasfilmy thing you could do. Scrap the film without telling your main actor. She'll find out, in some newspaper, on the internet, by some fan. Somebody will tweet it, and that's how she'll find out, instead of the company actually giving her the courtesy of a phone call. I could totally see that. That is so Lucasfilmy. That would be exactly what they would do. I don't necessarily believe that. There are still plans to make it, but it might be a very different movie by the time production gets started. Different from what? Nobody even knows what it is. It doesn't exist. It's in the ether. It exists in a bunch of executives' heads, and they just don't want to just say this is what we want to do or just write it themselves. It's quite clear that this won't be the next Star Wars movie from Disney. In case you've lost count, there are now 7 Star Wars films in development from directors Charmin Chinoy, Mangold, Filoni, Favreau, Glover, Levy, and Patty Jenkins. Patty Jenkins ain't coming back to work with Kennedy. Which comes first? I would bet it's Jon Favreau's The Mandalorian. Grogu's set to shoot later this year. I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't get going either. And I really sense that Favreau has had issues with him as well, creative issues with him. I really do. I mean, you look at that argument with him and Favreau arguing about whether Luke was a Jedi Master in the Return of the Jedi. Literally live on camera, Filoni's arguing he wasn't. That's the environment you're in. That's the environment Jon Favreau's in and dealing with, is people that are completely just on another planet. And I don't know if they're just baked all day or what, but it's weird. They're weird. Anyways, guys, there you go. I don't think this movie's ever going to happen, and I think this is just totally indicative of the way Lucasfilm treats just everybody around them. They treat them like crap. They're treating Daisy Ridley like crap. Everybody's being treated like crap. And so again, she comes back for the bag. Come back for the bag. I don't blame her. Take your $12 million if you get it. And that's what Star Wars is now. It's just, I just want to make some money, so I'll go do something with Star Wars. I think Carrie-Anne Moss only did The Acolyte for the money as well. Because, I mean, she's just Trinity in a Jedi costume. She knows that. Even the marketing is perpetuating that. And I think she's just like, yeah, I'll make a few bucks here for, 5 days of shooting. See you later. And then my character's dead in episode 1. That's the rumor. I'm sure it's true. So anyways, guys, let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really helps the channel. Check out anything else on my channel and have yourselves a really good day.